Alright, we're live.
We're on. All right.
Yeah, we can figure the camera stuff out later and shit.
Yeah.
You know, just have the bitch right there.
All right, let's run it, bro.
Oh, let's see. Good here. It's, I don't know, I guess
This is Chocolate Thunder, aka K-stone, Corey, with me, Mondo, also known as Mondo.
got my girl Ty here hanging with us today for the first episode. Say hey, Ty.
Hey, what's up?
Just in here enjoying some great egg. What is this we got right now?
We are smoking on some kosher kush right now.
Which is legal in Massachusetts, by the way, so we're not breaking the law.
Yeah, which makes it not fun anymore. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, this is some kosher kush. This is, I'm pretty sure it's a 2012. No, you know, let me check it out right here for you real quick. You know, like facts. This was Cannabis Cup Best Indica in 2010 and 2011, as well as Best Strain in 2011. About 29% THC, you know, give or take, depending on the grower. But yeah, that's all it is about that. It's a delicious flavor, you know. It's that OG Kush related strain. So, but besides that, what do you think about it, Ty?
I think it's great. I'm a fan.
What is OG Kush related, man? Tell me about that.
So OG Kush is pretty much one of the indica strains. It's pretty much a family of strains that's very famous in the U.S. amongst rappers, amongst, you know, different cultures. It's just a great indica, man. Everybody loves Kush, man. You know, it's huge in Cali. That couch lock high, you know, that, you know, nighttime smoke for a professional, but I'm not a professional. I smoke an indica when I wake up in the morning. You know what I mean?
It doesn't change much. Ty's eyes already red.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Jesus, that shit's good, man.
Now, what do you think? Because see, I'm the pothead.
Yeah.
You are, you know, we know that you dabble with the edibles and everything, but you're not really a flower smoker like that. So, I mean, this is different for you. What do you think?
It was smooth.
That was the host.
I'm usually coughing a lot worse than this. I'm chilling.
I mean, you're gonna cough. You can't help it because the trichome production is just excellent on this. I swear, it's like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I wonder what I have to do, wonder where I am after about 4 hits into this, but you know what we do. It's all good.
So,
yeah. So that's I love it. I love it. What do you?
so is that what they call the mechanism that makes you cough, or is it just so good that it makes you cough and then you get higher? Because I'm under the impression that you get high or when you cough a lot, so it's a good thing if you cough a lot.
So there's strains out there that. All right, there's so many variables with this, so let me hit this correctly. Don't crucify me if I don't hit it all in alphabetical order. But you have different things that contribute to maybe the amount you cough. Maybe the grower didn't flush the plants the last 2 weeks.
What's that? Like a bunch of water?
Yeah, so like if you're feeding your plant nutrients all the time, right? Which is generally what you want. Quick branch off example. So like, if me and you live from 1 year of age till 20 years of age, right? But I ate, let's say we ate the same amount of portion meals, but I ate 4 more meals than you a week.
Okay, so you get this a little bit more often.
I'm eating more often. What's gonna happen in the end? Inevitably, I'm gonna put on more weight, right?
Yeah, you're getting more of the same good shit I'm getting. It's not getting enough.
Okay, so your goal is to feed the plant as much as possible so you can get more weight in the lifetime. It's such a short lifetime, but then, you know, the last 2 weeks of a plant, there's a lot of people, what they do is it's just a technique called flushing, where they give the plant nothing but water for the last 2 weeks.
As opposed to what?
As opposed to nutrients.
Like the little dirt you sprinkle on top of it, or like milk?
No, all types of hydroponic. Well, I mean, nutrients come in so many forms. Nutrients is just, you know, what the plant is consuming for nutritional value, but as far it
So
can
would it
be,
come in
so I'm saying it can be like a liquid that you pour in water and then pour in that,
Like the
or
water, the green shit.
like what? What are you talking about?
Like Miracle-Gro.
I mean, Miracle-Gro is just once.
One
It's
example
a
that comes to that mind.
Miracle-Gro.
Yeah.
Unless this is their first time and they don't have enough information, just like I did my first grow.
The Miracle-Gro.
Miracle-Gro. So that was literally like, you know,
Tell me what's
fucking
wrong with
broke
that.
as fuck.
Educate me about it.
Let's
Huh?
learn, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you gotta start somewhere, but you know, like, so as far as Miracle-Gro is concerned, that shit's hilarious as far as flashback goes, you know.
Tell me
But,
about what's wrong with that. Tell me about it.
Well, let me run it back to the flush real quick so I don't get off subject because I'm stoned as fuck. Pretty much the flush is the water when you give it straight water for the last 2 weeks of growth. But what you're inevitably doing is pretty much flushing out all the salts that build up in the soil, and those salts build up over time due to nutrient application. Do you know what I'm saying? So, you know, let me put it to you like this: cholesterol. If you eat shitty food, what happens? The plaque builds up.
Yep.
So the salt builds up in the soil the same way. Now, we want to come in as, you know, the surgeon and flush it all out. Flush all that out. So when you harvest your product, it is a lot smoother of a smoke, way more delicious as far as terps go. There's not that sparks from salt still being in the bud, et cetera, you know? But
A lot
yeah,
of stuff just disappears.
yeah, it makes for a smoother smoke.
Awesome.
But yeah,
What a beautiful science.
we Mondo stone the shit.
I'm here, man.
Shoot that shit, Mondo. What's on your mind, though?
That's incredible stuff. Can you smoke anything on here yet?
No. These are just leaves and stuff.
I know nothing about the actual plant part because I just don't spend a lot of time looking at it.
Yeah, it's unmistakable when
'Cause there's
it's,
like buds and shit, right? Like looks like it's almost like fruit.
So how long till?
absolutely. So it's definitely like a fruit in a sense
What's that
of
right
the
there?
word. Oh, that's just vape oil. This is not THC vape oil. This is just for a vape.
It just
You know,
smells
just
good.
nicotine.
Ah,
Low amount of nicotine and a delicious flavor.
just to keep you
So-
puffing.
But yeah, as far as everything else is concerned, no, you cannot smoke this right now. This is only about a week in a flower, you know. So each strain has a different flowering period. You know what I mean? And some strains finish in 8 weeks, some 9, 10, 11, 12. Sativas tend to take a lot longer than the indicas. Of course, indicas finish a lot faster, which is why a lot of the weed that people smoke on the streets, commercially grown, are indicas.
Because it grows quicker.
Because they grow faster. And that's why a lot of people don't have access to a variety of sativas and different strains, you know. I'm more of a sativa guy. I love indicas, don't get me wrong. Please do not confuse those words. But I tend to like that haze. I love a haze. You know, I love that introspective, creative feeling, that euphoria that comes on with some of those sativas. And the sativas are the ones that take longer to grow because sativas generally grow in equatorial areas of the earth. Do you know what I mean? A little bit closer to the equator.
So hotter.
Yeah, absolutely hotter.
Like South America.
Absolutely more humid, generally speaking. And you know, but people do get sativas back in the day, as far as like that shit bud, that Mexican brick shit.
That brown stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of sativas. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there's no love, there's no care, it's just those seeds and that shit, you set it and forget it.
Hold on. So I did the other charger too? See what's gonna charge? The
Yeah.
orange one? Oh.
What's up?
Just wondering what actually can charge yourself for them.
Grazie.
You don't remember?
No, it's in my jacket.
Do you need to go get it?
No.
You sure? We're going to charge your phone the whole time we're in here.
Okay.
Okay. Step around me. But, yeah, I definitely think, that's probably nice. I should probably just stand up, right? I think that'll be easier. Ah, I fell out. Yeah. But for a first go, this is pretty good. We just talk and get used to being from the camera. Be able to figure out what this shit sounds like. So we can know, what we need.
Yeah, you know,
It's our first go.
Yeah, you know, this is a trial run. We're seeing what we can do here. Pretty much on the fly, you know. Yeah, we could have a more structured type podcast, but,
Guess or something.
you know, yeah, that's for the future. You know what I mean? As far as structure goes, I'm just more of a spontaneous human being. So,
You like that freeform?
yeah, I like that freeform, professional, and et cetera, but if you're just a real human like us and you're here to talk that shit, let's talk that shit.
Oh man, did you watch Punisher?
I did.
I liked it. I just wanted more punishing.
In what aspect?
You remember how episode 1 felt real dangerous and raw, but kind of controlled?
Yeah.
I like that. Episode 1 was my favorite besides the
Okay,
finale.
you're talking about. I don't want to give any spoilers, ladies and gentlemen, because
That shit been out a month. You
asshole
can
shit.
spoil it. It been out like a month, man. They can get it spoiled.
I don't know if we can do the. You know what? Nah, it's still fresh, man. Not everybody's seen it.
We'll give it a little bit more time.
But we'll keep it very vague, you know.
Edward Norton is Tyler Durden.
What? Hold on. Who is Tyler? Who?
Edward Norton is Tyler Durden. Just in case y'all haven't seen Fight Club, I just spoiled it for you. Tyler Durden's not real. When's the last time you watched Fight Club?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna get laughed at, but whatever. Yo, I seen Fight Club one time. I seen one time front to back, but I seen. God damn, that's a beautiful plant.
It is.
Jesus. Harambe. Yeah, so I seen Fight Club one time front to back.
If they got chopped in half, could you save it?
What's up?
Let's say someone chopped that shit right down the middle. Could you save it?
I don't know. Could they be saved if I chop them in half?
Like seriously, or is it really like that? Like,
well, no, it would live.
you just have to stick
Like,
it together or something?
What the fuck would that be? That would be some blasphemy.
Probably a weird looking plan, and
Weird looking plant, but what about the guy who cut it who's dead?
well, you got to throw him out the window.
Out the window, that's easy.
So you really gonna fuck him up?
Oh yeah, I think like elbows until they cross over. Like in a full mount. Like you're in a full mount, you just drop elbows non-stop, and then, you know, if you get tired with the arm, you switch to a headbutt. Like, yeah, you'd probably be having heart palpitations because you're so amped up with adrenaline and just, yeah. But the poor guy underneath you, we're not even going to talk. I'm talking about him.
I'll tell you the story right with my roommates. I'll change their names for the sake of this podcast. So,
Sure.
or my roommate, we'll call him James for this story. When I moved in with him in Quincy, this was a little before I met you, maybe 6 months before I had met you, to put a time frame on it. So I moved in with them. It was basically I broke up with my ex-girlfriend. I just needed a spot because I was getting the fuck out of there. My homeboy Josh hit me up. I can use his name since he's not really in the story. And worked at the mall together. And he's like, hey man, I saw you put on Facebook. You're looking for a new spot.
Yep.
We got a room at my place if you want in. Only $500 a month.
Okay.
I said, what's that? Quincy, right by the train stop, Wollaston. I'm in. I've lived in Wollaston before. It's one of my favorite spots of Massachusetts. I moved in to a little room. So we got James, my roommate Josh, and this girl that lived there named, we'll call her Jennifer. What's up?
Oh, no, I was just here to speak this way.
Oh, okay. We'll call her Jennifer for the sake of the story. So, she was fucking James. It was good. They had a good relationship. She was cool. Always had food in the house. It was a white chick. I liked her personally.
My favorite.
Oh, yeah.
I'd probably like it too.
You'd find her she's attractive. She has really nice eyes. She got a fatty. Like, she can be a bit... She's like one of those weird nerds that probably just tried acid and mushrooms too early in life.
That's fine by me,
Yeah.
baby.
She's good.
I mean, I tried a little late in life, so I'm still put together. But one of us.
She be into you. She be into you.
Yeah, she likes chocolate.
She does. She does.
Oh, my favorite.
She likes black dudes and Asian guys. That's like her thing. Nothing else. That's a good setup for my man.
Hey, that's just complete. Aren't that like polar opposites though?
I think that's why. It's two.
That's
extremes.
cool. I respect that. I respect the extremes.
It's extremes. You get one.
Sometimes you don't want what you are and what you can have so frequently. Whatever you have easy access to, sometimes you just don't really want. You know that's the way of the world.
Well, the competition's going to be harder, and the pickings might not be as good for what you got left. Plus, it just might not be exciting. Like, I've never not been into black chicks per se, but I know black girls. They were always there when I was a kid. So by the time I hit puberty, I just, no interest. It wasn't even like I don't like them. They just, I wanted something I hadn't seen before. I wanted some new shit.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. It's just sometimes people just want what they don't have in general.
I got you.
I'm not saying you can't have it. I'm just saying in general maybe that's not. If I'm walking in a tomato field for 20 years of my life, and then I see a pineapple tree, you know, and I might be like, what the fuck? Fuck these tomatoes. You get what I'm saying?
Just imagine
you know what I'm saying?
What the Africans thought when they landed in Puerto Rico.
Imagine what the Africans thought when the whites landed on Africa. Imagine what the whites thought when the whites seen the Africans.
They probably, like, I don't know what condition Puerto Rico was in before niggas got up there, but I'm just imagining like a bunch of fair-skinned girls with big-ass titties, because they didn't quite have the ass yet. They had to inherit that. They didn't get the ass yet.
You know what? Let's talk about ass.
Okay. I love ass.
Let's talk. I love ass too.
Big ass man.
Yeah. 2 hands on it and just kind of like that wax on motion.
I blame
you know what I mean? But with both hands at the same time.
Do you remember
porn is just
Onion Booty.
Satan, bro.
Remember OnionBooty.com?
Hell, I remember everything.
OnionBooty.com was probably the first porn
Fuck,
I ever watched.
I might have some accounts on them shits, bro. If I dig deep enough.
Yeah. Sadly, Onion Booty.
Oh, Lord, if you're listening, help.
Onion Booty sadly no longer exists, but that was like the first site I watched when I got into porn. So that was like 2003 is like the first time I was like 13 or some shit. And I was just looking at it being like, man, this is where it's at. Because they would go into like a random country, usually like Ecuador or Brazil or some shit. They'd approach a girl, usually on the corner selling some oranges or something. She'd always have a fat ass.
Yeah.
Sometimes big ass titties.
Mm-hmm.
And they would coerce this girl into sex. It was probably a couple years before I realized that wasn't real. I thought they was really getting down like that. I really thought.
Imagine that. But they were.
Yeah.
Somebody was piping that.
Well, no, I thought
video.
I thought it was real in the setup, but they really just found a random chick.
Yeah. Like it wasn't staged.
Yeah.
Imagine that though.
It makes you wonder though.
That would make it more exciting, wouldn't it?
I believe that if we had a camera, like a legit pro-looking video, and some Bang Bros shirts at a college campus, especially like the right college, I think we can make something happen.
That's crazy. You just made me want to get some Bang Bros shirt and go to college and just say I'm Bang Bros.
Yes. We probably can't do it here in Boston. We need somewhere like South Florida. Somewhere it's real hot.
Yo, mad porn stars go to Florida and shit, like Miami and Cali and shit like that. Like that's a hot spot for them.
We should go to like Black fucking Bike Week or something with all them loose black bitches out there with the cameras.
Man, you know me, man. I like diversity, man. I like diversity.
I enjoy.
It's the fruit of it. Just like my weed.
Yeah.
Just like my weed, I wouldn't want to smoke the same. Yo, listen. If somebody came to me and was like, I can give you infinite amounts of the best weed in the world, one strain. This is the only strain you're gonna have though. But it's the best in the world. Or you can have mad random strains, infinite amount. I take the random all day, even if it wasn't the best in the world. Feel me?
Yeah.
Variety, baby, variety.
I think that's where it's at, variety. You gotta be able to be out there, doing your thing, meet everybody.
Now, What did you watch any of the recent UFC fights? I missed them.
Try to watch all of them. Did you see Francis in Ghana?
Is that the one
Black
who knocked out Alistar Overeem with that
guy.
uppercut? My God. That's crazy, man. You know,
It's a big boy, man. Black, African, and French.
you know, I don't say this. I don't say this with arrogance. I'm just being honest. I can hit hard as fuck. I can hit hard as fuck.
You good size cat.
Thank you. But when you look at a human being who is built like that, just you ever meet those motherfuckers who got like no abs? They just got that belly, but it's hotter than anybody else's fucking 8-pack. It's like, okay, so you're not aesthetic at all, but he just looks like one of those dudes that just strength.
Well,
like when he hits you in the chin, what type of dance do you think your brain does against your skull on the inside?
You probably just feel like you shouldn't be there. It's like, you remember Undertaker? Undertaker never had abs, but, you know, like 06, where he had them big ass arms, he looked good.
Yeah. He's getting old too, man.
Yeah, I don't want to see him do any more wrestling. Back to my story.
Yeah, sure.
I totally forgot about this.
That's right.
So my roommate,
James and Josh and all them.
good job. James was fucking Jessica, right? And at one point, James hit Jessica up. We're all there. Basically let her know, I don't really want to fuck you anymore. And I want to fuck other bitches, but I feel like I can't because you coming in my room all the fucking time. You fucking up what I got going on. She didn't take it well. They had a lot of beef, argued back and forth, blah, blah, blah. One day she said, you know what? Fuck it, I'm out. They got in a big ass argument, yelled at each other. She got the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
Long story short. This was right before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Nothing but dudes. We having a good ass time, bro.
Okay.
We laugh and shoot the shit. Great. Then on Black Friday, none of us is home. I'm at work. Josh was somewhere with his girl, I guess. James, I don't know what the fuck James was at, but he wasn't up in that bitch. Well, I get home and I see the police there.
Nice.
I'm like,
Always
what's going
fun.
on? I see they've handcuffed James's friend there. We'll call him fucking Chris for the sake of the story. The reason Chris was at our spot was because Chris was hanging out with us one day and collapsed at our house.
Yeah.
Maybe about a week or two before. I found out he had a fucking blood clot from bumping his knee on the train. Caused a blood clot to travel to his heart. Almost killed him. So my roommate, it's all a true story by the way.
That's crazy.
My roommate James felt kind of bad about it and was like, listen, just stay at our crib, man. You passed out here, you went to the hospital, they didn't have to do any surgery, thank God. They did some shit where they let the air out of his heart, but they didn't have to like really like slice him up too much, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing too crazy, like a minor surgery you gotta do on. And it was like, you know, I felt bad about it. Stay here. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta crash at your mom's crib, just chill on our couch.
Okay.
He's been at our house maybe a month at this point, right? He's in handcuffs when I come to the house. I said, I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on?
Yep.
So as I'm getting up too close to the house, I see Josh's girlfriend yanks me to the side before I get up in that bitch. She's like, Jessica came with her sister and ransacked the house and called the cops on Chris. Because Chris was in a dead sleep on the fucking couch. I said, what, she called the cops. So I chilled. I ain't come up in that bitch. She left with all the shit. Cop tells us, y'all can go in the house. We go in the house. She's taken almost everything out of the house that was hers. Didn't take any of my shit, thank fucking God. But a lot of shit was going out of the house. So we're looking around like, man, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean?
Most deaf.
Awkward as fuck. My first thought was, Mike had a bunch of weed plants. Let's go see the weed plants. Let's see if she's still them. All I see is this, but chopped up. He had like 4 plants this size, maybe, that he had stuck in there. It was
This size?
Yeah, it was some nice work he had going on in there. He had like the setup you had, like the big thing. He had all that going on. It's the first time I ever saw that in real life, by the way.
Okay.
And like the plan was, they weren't his. Someone was giving them him. You grow them, you get a percentage. He had that kind of setup. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
He needed someone. He had the
Store.
place, but someone was funding it.
Yeah, he had a good setup. Well, they're gone now. Chopped up all over the floor. He doesn't know about this yet. Something about stuff. You know what? me calling him at work is not gonna do him any favors. I'm gonna chill. I just send him a text. I say, James, do me a big favor. Call me as soon as you get this. Just give me a call. I'm at work. What's up? Just give me a call. I just gotta talk to you about something. He calls me, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. Jessica broke into the house when we were gone. He's like, what? I said, just let me explain it to you. I'll tell you everything that happened before you ask me any questions. Just to keep this as easy as possible.
That already sounds bad.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you all the details.
I'm like, let me ask questions anyways, Jesus.
Of course, he was freaking out. I hear his voice. She broke into the house when you were gone. He's like, okay. Chris woke up. He goes, Chris. She called the cops on him. He's not in jail. They just handcuffed him for a second, detained him. Once I came to get him out. So he wasn't even taken into custody. Okay. She took her items. Okay. And she cut up the weed plants. Click.
Oh,
click.
Shit.
Those are click. Fold up right out.
No, man. I feel the pain. I feel the pain.
He shows up immediately after.
Of course. Like Batman.
Yeah, so we're in Queens. He was in Braintree Mall. He got there at like 15. My man must have got Uber ASAP. Took first Uber, a cab, something. It was a rough few days because the bitch took the couches too.
Who is this? Who
Yeah.
is he, man?
That's what they do when they ain't getting that no more. You know, they act a fool. But so.
That's why you just gotta throw it anyways. It's a job, man.
Yeah,
But you know what? You can't be messing with a bitch like that anyways. What's wrong with him?
Ah,
What's wrong with James, man? Let's talk about James.
This right here, that's what's wrong with him. I'm telling you, he's a victim of his own penis. I'm horrible. You know what I mean? Getting with Ty is the best thing I ever did because it stopped me from making bad decisions. And it wasn't like fucking a lot of women. It was just like fucking. There's like a level of fine. There's like you look really good. You look cute. Normal girl. There's things on your body that I like.
Yes. That's a fucking good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Now that sounds savage, and there's gonna be some women who don't like to hear that. But that's always gonna be the truth.
I'm sure there's dudes like that. There's dudes with big dicks that look ugly. I'm sure that y'all like, maybe I shouldn't fuck him, but he got that hammer down.
Yeah, you know what, bitches? Yeah, hell yeah, bitches do that shit, man. Come on. And I say bitches with no disrespect.
Oh yeah, but it was like that's kind of the cutoff, and I would find myself a lot of times not having any of these up here, and talking to women here that are just they just had things in their bodies that I liked. So there's this Asian chick I used to fuck with. She just had these big ass titties and this huge dong. She worked out all the time. She wasn't bad looking by any stretch, but if you took those away, she goes from the hard 8 rate I gave her to probably about a 4, 6.
Oh
like
man, yeah.
Just normal face, just not even monstrous, just normal.
Okay.
And I remember thinking to myself one day, I gotta get this bitch out of my life.
Oh shit.
It was just like she was getting too familiar. You know, first we'd meet up, we'd hook up, whatever. I don't see her for a month. It was a
You
great
should
thing.
speak up.
Hear me now. So I'd see her for like a month, we'd hook up, whatever. Don't see her again for a few weeks. It was great. It was a good setup. I just met her at the mall one day. She came over to my house one day. It was great. Then she started hanging around more. And now she's mentioning to me that she's gotten back with her baby's father, which is kind of why I stopped talking. It was a great setup. I got my baby dad.
Oh, that's perfect.
I was like, yeah, go back to him. And she wants to text and be friendly. Oh, yeah, we can still be friends.
Yeah, no, you know, there ain't nothing wrong with being an adult and being cool with it. You ain't gotta be an asshole every time. See, I don't understand, like, listen, when you're like 18, 19, 20, 21, yeah, look at I'll give you the 24.
Yeah.
But, like, pretty much after that, like, you ain't gotta be an asshole. You didn't have to be an asshole then, but I'll accept the fact that you're growing up, because I need to grow up. But, yeah, I'm just being real. I'm being real. So, like, when people of that age group, when they say some crazy shit to me, and I'm just like, oh, you don't get it yet.
Yeah.
But I understand where you're coming from, because it's like, man, when I was 21, I thought I was a genius. And when I was 22, I thought I was 10 times smarter than I was when I was 21.
Super
and so
genius.
forth and so on. And then, but as an adult, you realize that you just didn't know shit. That's why you thought you were compounding such mass quantities of intelligence and information. You just didn't know shit.
And
you know what I mean?
It's a fun climb, too, because I feel like when you're early 20s, everything just seems up. You feel invincible, right?
Hell yeah. I mean, it took me a long time to grow up because as a young man, I think I, invincible, let's say, also the inability to see the future, to see it with depth or any meaning. What I'm saying is that, yeah, one day you'll be 30, but, when you're that young and you live the lifestyle that some of us live, it's not an ego thing. I'm just saying you get really confused with, you don't care about building for the future because you're worrying about living for that moment. You know what I mean? And you can only foresee that moment. And some people come from a background where, they foresee that moment, but they foresee no change in the future, even if they thought they could change. They just can't see it becoming true. Yeah, you don't want to look at those lights, dog.
That's what I thought that was. I was like, is that the fluorescent I'm looking at? That box?
That ain't the fluorescent, bro. It's a 1,000-watt HPS.
What does that do? Tell me about that.
So this white one is a 1,000-watt metal halide. That's a 1,000-watt HPS. The difference in them is color spectrums. This gives off a more blue spectrum, more of a springtime,
like actual sunlight,
early summer. Yeah, and this gives off a more fall spectrum.
So it's like we're in the sun right now.
Huh?
So it's like we're in the sun right now.
Oh, hell yeah. You can catch a tan in here.
This is wild.
But if we get any darker, we might fucking get arrested by the mob. Because I'm just kidding.
Yo, Mike Brown.
Kinda. Whatever. So, pretty much, a lot of people will use the white colored one, the blue one, for vegging because it keeps the inner nodes nice and close on the plant.
What's that?
Meaning, okay, the best way that I can explain it in layman's terms is that if me and fucking Billy Bob, we both have a plant each, right? Both of our plants are 6 feet tall. But on my plant, it has 80 branches. On his plant, same height, it has 25 branches. Now, that means he has more stretching and more of a stretch between his inner nodes are so spaced apart. The goal is to get them stacked together. Coach. Words. I don't know what the hell happened to my lighter. Actually, my lighter's in my pocket. None of mine.
We're going to have a brief interlude. We shall return momentarily. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. It was in my pocket. It's an official Stone the movie.
Of course.
Man, now...
switch chairs. Put this away. I don't think Ty's coming back. I think Ty's high.
Ty's not coming back. She's stoned. She's probably passed out.
Exactly what happened.
Alright. There we go. So now, what's up with the gym?
The gym, with MMA stuff or the weights, what? The weights are new.
Let's talk about the weights first.
It's the first time I've been on the weights hardcore since last time we worked out. Because after that, I got right back into fight training.
Yeah.
It's been nice to be lifting weights again. I prefer the bodybuilding to the strength training stuff, but I do a little bit of both now. The weight's coming down again. I got nice and fat over the holidays, so I'm going to be trimming down again.
Okay.
Feeling strong. The shoulder has no problem lifting. It's when I get it right here and the labrum comes in, that's where the instability happens.
Yeah.
So I can still bench and curl and everything else I like to do.
How is that affecting you as far as your MMA training goes?
Month and a half, 2 months off. That's it. Nothing career ending, like I'm not gonna die. But the fight I had set up for January, that's not happening. I just won't be in shape quick enough.
You know what? Injuries are a bitch, man. Injuries are a bitch, and I lift heavy as fuck, but at the same time, like, I try to lift semi-smart. You know what I mean? Like, I lift what I know I can lift comfortably. It may be a lot of weight, but at the same time, I'm looking to make gains. Everybody has different goals, I guess. See, my goal was always get as big as fuck. I'm talking about fucking Coltrane from fucking Gears of War. You know what I'm talking about? It's the Coltrane, baby! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. It was a fucking fantastic
character. Did he die at the end of that?
I fucking forget, man. You know what? I played. What happened was I had 1 and 2, and I think by the time 3 came out, I stopped fucking with the Xbox and I was more on the PlayStation. I've always had a PlayStation, but I was an Xbox dude all day. And then once they came out with the Xbox One, I just wasn't feeling it, man. I felt like the graphics was better, but as far as the games available and, you know, they were definitely charging a hefty price for the internet. You know, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. You know, and it wasn't a quick decision because it was like if you were a blood and you got convinced it to be in a Crip somehow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? With the PlayStation and the Xbox, it's like, you know, he's like, man.
For me, it was.
Oh shit!
I was getting hot. I was a Nintendo guy forever, but after I realized they were gonna start doing the Wii, I was kind of done with Nintendo. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just saw no need to continue doing that. Like, Nintendo ended our relationship when they made the Wii. I was like, oh, okay, that's not a real console, so.
You know what? That is a wonderful way of putting it because I don't fuck with Nintendo.
Yeah. Still love it.
Let me tell you, you know what? The last time Nintendo was hot, Nintendo 64.
I agree.
Fucking alien-ass controllers, but you know what? There was good games.
Sense.
Star Fox.
The race
Mario Party was fucking. I love Mario Party.
Smash Brothers.
Smash Brothers. Mario Kart. You know, there was a bunch of fucking good games on that system. It was like, you know, they had the 4 controller system. I remember playing Madden 2000. 2000. I remember tackling. Okay, so my favorite thing in the Madden back in the day, because this is when the graphics, like we look now, they were fucking poop. But at the same time, back then, they were a bomb.
Bananas, right?
So there was this animation where, like, the wide receiver will go up for a catch,
okay,
and if you tackle him at the right time, the dude would do like a backflip or a front flip.
Hell yeah.
And it was just the illest thing. I swear to God, I only played full games just to see that animation, and it was so rare.
I know what you mean.
We're coming from that to, like, now I'm fucking, what am I playing? I'm playing Mad Max right now. It costs $5 on the internet, and you know what? It's one of those games that didn't get mad advertising, but for $5, that's a fucking ill game. I play it all the time. It's very similar to Batman. The fighting goes.
I know what you're talking about. I like Mad Max. I don't know why they haven't put more emphasis in that character. Maybe it's the name. I don't know what it is, but I feel like that should be more popular.
Well, you know what?
The first game was big. Everybody was talking about that shit.
I didn't even remember. This is only Mad Max I played, but as far as the character, he doesn't really have much of a personality. He's just kind of like on the rage. There's not much dialogue.
I thought you was talking about Max Payne at first.
Oh no, Mad Max,
like
ladies
Mel
and gentlemen.
Gibson.
Yeah, no, Mel Gibson. But in this one, so
is Thunderdome in it?
No, this one seems more based off of the new Mad Max with what's his name?
Your boy.
I know you're gonna say it right away. Short guy. Remember they thought he could play Wolverine. He was
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy,
right?
He was in The Revenant. You know, I did for a long time. I didn't even know that was. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's a kush. It's very kosher.
Is that the same one you were smoking the whole time?
Yeah, bro. We got so high, it went out, and then I couldn't find a lighter. But I was satisfied. I actually gotta feed these plants in about an hour's time. It's gonna take a while. It takes about an hour or some change to do, depending on.
You should let me film that. That's cool. I just want to drop your name on the video.
Yeah, no, that's fine, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm off work today, so we're hanging out, man.
Weed videos have a lot of hits on YouTube. People like looking at weed.
People love looking at weed. And you know, like, especially those people out there putting out informational videos and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's awesome because it's just, look, let me broaden out a little bit. Anybody putting educational videos about anything that isn't negative, that isn't, you know, for hurting other people, and when I say hurting other people, I'm not talking about like MMA training or military training. I'm talking about like fucking bad shit, like those psycho fucking, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, shit gets wild. Oh, we're gonna do 5 minutes because I gotta rest this. This is about to burn the fuck up.
Oh, all right, baby. Yeah, man. So
we're gonna hop back on though.
All right. Yeah. So what do you got for our last 5-minute rundown before we take this quick break and I roll 50 months from my face?
We're gonna come back and we're gonna talk about women, relationships. That can be fun. The perfect woman. That's a fun one. And we can also.
Fair enough. What else you got on your mind? Let's hit them with something. We'll hit them with that. See, like the woman conversation is basic. Let's hit them with something else too.
Okay.
What's crazy on your mind? What's some crazy? You know, I like talking about taboo shit, motherfucker.
Some wild
taboo shit is great because it makes people fucking uncomfortable. It is amazing. You get to really see what people are made of. You know what I mean? Or where they come from, or what is the norm for them. I love that shit.
I'm gonna ask you
Shock
now.
factor. Shoot.
And we're gonna hop on it when we get back.
All right. What?
Sweden, I believe. It's one of those European countries.
Yeah, Sweden. Yeah, of course.
They got a test.
I love my Swedish fish, bro.
They have a test to eliminate Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And they're trying to push for mandatory abortions if your kid pop out one, where they can end it early in pregnancy. People with Down syndrome are like, bro, all of us aren't retarded. We can drive cars, we can go to the bank, we have lives. Spectrums to that shit. You know what I mean?
Do you know what? Okay. All right. So I know a lot of these people, maybe if they're listening or not, they don't know me and they don't know how I think and
no idea.
My perspectives. And
you're a deep guy.
I personally am able to detach myself from that situation.
I the same way.
And it almost sounds like a psychopath. Like I can emotionally detach. So when I emotionally detach from that situation, what I see, now what I see is this, Lee. I see they're trying to rid that gene, you know what I mean, out of the DNA pool. Just rid that genetic trait. So that if there's less people producing with that certain genetic trait, wouldn't there be less people with Down syndrome? Now,
that's the goal.
I hope people don't take what I'm saying wrong, because I'm not even thinking about it as emotionally attached. I'm just stepping away. You have to have that ability as a human to detach and look almost very pragmatic.
What if it was your mom?
It almost sounds heartless. It almost sounds heartless, but you can have you can be full of heart and just be able to step away and detach and be like, okay, so they're trying to do this to maybe limit that. So, what do you think their goal? Do you think it's because they look at that as a weakness, or they feel bad? They don't want anybody to have to live like that. What do you think is their real? Their intent. Yeah, what is their intent? Is it nefarious?
If you're not,
if
you're gonna be fair down the middle.
Yeah, down the middle. Nice and
honest reason is I think they just don't want to deal with it anymore. They want to get it out the way. Like a lot of them people can be difficult to look at if you're a certain kind of person. You don't want to look at them. You don't want to be around them. And
I think that's why. See, that's nefarious to me. That's fucked up.
I don't know if it's a bad thing as much as just looking. I think they're just really detaching themselves.
No, but look, if they're looking at it as we want to get rid of this kind of person from coming to fruition in the future because it's aesthetically displeasing,
which I think
that's fucked up, bro. That is fucked up. Because you know what? Then you can say all types of shit. Then you can say black people are aesthetically displeasing, fat people are aesthetically displeasing, white people are aesthetically
doors, right?
Whatever, because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, correct? Yeah. So whoever is the group making that observation is gonna have a specific perspective to. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like...
Ooh, this kosher kush is good, baby.
It gets to the point where you... Yeah, I'm feeling it.
Oh, man.
It gets to the point where you can change stuff. And, I don't know, part of me likes the idea of us having some things that we can't do. Because I think some part can be too much.
Like what? See, like, that's... I'm huge. This is... okay, let me just state this, and then you say whatever you want. Personally, I believe, as long as you're not hurting the next person, do whatever the fuck you want. Here, I'm gonna get real taboo for you.
That.
I don't care if you do heroin. I don't care if you do steroids. I don't care if you fucking shove plungers in your ass. I don't care. I don't care. If you're not hurting somebody else, do what you please. Now, I don't say do that without. I don't say do that with full-on ignorance.
Of course.
And I'm not encouraging it. I'm just saying, people. There's fucking 8 billion people on the planet. Do you know how long it takes to count to 1 billion? Why don't you try that out? and then multiply that times 8. That's how many souls are walking this earth right now. So my point is this: no matter what, there is always going to be some small group of people in all factions doing crazy and weird shit, right? But to those who are doing crazy and weird shit, not hurting others, let them do what the fuck they want. Who gives a fuck? Why do you care? My thing is this. So like, okay, example, gay marriage, right? Why do you give a fuck what they do? Why do you care? Why do you care what anybody else does in their bedroom? Like me as a straight male, I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't care. That's your business.
Yeah, like I might not
I don't
want to
care.
go.
It doesn't change. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
just.
like, leave me alone.
But that is my example for everything down the road. Just like I think that drugs should be legalized. I think they should be legalized. I think they should be taxed. You want to know why? Here, let me give you a small reason. You got all these people dying from heroin, the heroin epidemic. I mean, my opinions about that is there's always been a heroin epidemic. It became an epidemic when it started touching suburbia. And no offense, but white suburbia.
Well, you start having girls who have good families that get hooked on that shit with their fucking friends that hop out in the streets. And the next thing you know, pull this up, they're tripping out, they're ODing. The parents, what's going on? Nigga, you know what's going on. Something that's been going on.
I mean that was a big flow with the pills, but we won't even let's not even go down that road. Let me get to my point. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it's the weed. What it is that if you legalized all drugs, right, you would have a certain, even like with the cannabis industry, they have to measure the amount of THC they have, when it was grown, you know, everything is labeled and everything is on point, right? Now, as far as harder drugs, you got all these kids dying from heroin, right? I know personally more than 10 people who have died. Easy. That's being light. I probably know over 30.
I know like 4 that just died this year.
That's what I'm saying. That was just a high blurt, 10 people.
Yeah, just.
But look, but my point is this: if they legalized it, right, and there was a certain group of that you have companies making this shit, and I'm not talking about big pharma. I'm just saying in general, you have companies that have to adhere to certain guidelines, right? So you wouldn't have people dropping dead from impurities in a product that they're purchasing, you know what I mean? So if a kid is looking for heroin and he goes to buy heroin but he gets fucking half a bag of fentanyl and he's dead, do you know what I mean? You subtract that out the game and you also offer some form of recovery for them as well. But let me not get into all that. You want to take a 5-minute break, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to take a 5-minute break. Hope you stay with us.
We'll be back, guys.
Anybody watching?
We peaked at about 100 people, and then it's been, but we're at 0 right now. That's interesting.
We did peak at 100 though?
Yeah.